Hey guys, welcome back to Camille's Corner. So, y'all, I'm here to talk about Gremlin Gate, okay? Y'all, I've been watching this whole situation unfolding, and at first I wasn't going to talk about it, but I see so much hypocrisy here that I have to call it out. And it's like nobody else making videos on this topic is bringing up this point. So, I'm just here to call things like I see it, and if it offends anybody, oh well. So a few days ago, Jason Lee from Hollywood Unlocked, he got into it with y'all's favorite YouTube blogger Tasha K. And somewhere along the line, y'all, this man called Tasha K's newborn baby a gremlin. And he's been getting dragged for it, as he should, because no matter how you feel about somebody, their kids should be off limits. There's never a good reason to drag anybody's children into anything. But anyway, y'all, I'm not even sure how this started, but from what I understand, this all started because Jason Lee was spotted at a train station and he was waiting on a train. And a barb started teasing him, basically saying that he's poor because he's catching a train. Like, taking a train is beneath celebrities or something. Y'all check it out.
Oh my gosh, gag. You Jason Lee?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, gag. Gagging. Ooh, you catching the train? You catching the train? Ooh. The girls got the nerve to come for Nikki and they catching the train. Yikes. Yikes. Ooh. Ooh, yikes, Miss Thing. Gagging.
Now, let me go off on a tangent here for a little bit because, y'all, I really don't understand this kind of thinking, and I don't get how this barb is acting like taking a train is for poor people or whatever. Like, I have a car and I'm still making payments on that shit, and it's not cheap. And I wish I could take a train because the traffic in Trinidad is horrendous. And y'all, we don't have a train system here because, I mean, it's a tiny island. We don't really need a train system, but we have buses. And I swear, people act the same way about taking the bus. Like, if you're spotted taking a bus, there are people who are going to act like you're poor and you can't afford a car or something. But, y'all, the traffic in Trinidad is so disgusting that it's actually smarter and it's more efficient to take a bus. Because the bus has its own route that is basically just for buses only, so there's never any traffic there. But private vehicles, we have to take the highway, and the highway is always like backed up with traffic, especially during peak hours. So while I'm stuck in traffic for like 3 hours trying to get to work, the people over there on the bus route, they're laughing their asses off because they're getting to work in like 20 minutes. So to me, taking a bus it's not just cheaper, but it's faster and it's smarter. So to me, this barb acting like Jason is a bum because he's taking a train, that is just ignorant as fuck. And there are a ton of celebrities who take the train. Not just because it's cheaper, but because sometimes it's faster than driving. And not just because you have money, it means that you have to spend it foolishly. So if you can take a train for like $20 instead of spending hundreds of dollars on a plane ticket, why the hell not? I don't see anybody making fun of Hugh Jackman or Emma Watson or Jake Gyllenhaal or any of these other celebrities who've been spotted taking trains. Bitch, even Rihanna takes the train. So this was a non-issue from the start for me. But, once that video started circulating, Tasha K's messy ass jumped on it and she started clowning Jason too. And she said she sent this video to Nicki Minaj and blah, blah, blah. And it was just a whole lot of unnecessary drama. And I guess that pissed Jason off and he made some unflattering comments on his show. So y'all check it out.
Gacken. Oh, into that little crackhead Tasha K. She's this YouTuber. So everybody has a fucking YouTube, but she sits in her dungeon, with her little gremlin, and she makes these videos where she just goes on rants. She took an opportunity to post it because she's sucking Nikki's dick. But
so just for reference, y'all, this is a gremlin, okay? So I could see why somebody would be mad at their child being called one. But then Jason came back and said, hey, well, Gizmo was a cute gremlin. So why are people so offended? Y'all, I can't. I can't.
Tonight, the biggest controversy is whether or not Jason Lee and Tasha K are going to ever get along. Apparently, I made a comment about Gremlin on my show, and it's got everybody up in arms. But those of you that are mad don't seem to have grown up in the 80s because Gizmo was the cutest little gremlin you've ever seen. And so why are you assuming that I said her child looked like the thing that had scabies popping out of them with these big old knots every time they touched a little bit of water? Maybe I was saying that it was a beautiful, cute, little warm and fuzzy thing. But this is somebody who gives medicine out to everybody who doesn't ask for it. So sometimes you got to be ready to take a dose of your own. And we all know problematic is coming. So keep on talking.
So when he said that, a bunch of people on YouTube started making videos and they were bashing him, and everybody was like, oh my God, he came for a kid and he should be cancelled. You don't talk about people's kids. Kids are off limits. And y'all people were just up in arms, okay? And I mean, I agree to an extent with this outrage. So I'm not defending him on that because he was wrong. He was being petty, and there are a lot of ways to clap back at somebody without dragging their innocent children into it. But my thing with all these people making these videos, where was that same energy when Tasha K was talking shit about people's kids? So let me play devil's advocate here and refresh y'all's memories, because some of y'all, it's like y'all have short-term memory loss or some shit. Y'all remember when Tasha K said Gucci Mane's son is autistic because his sperm ain't shit?
Her autistic son, okay? That sperm that he gave her wasn't shit. And that's why the baby was damn underdeveloped, I'm telling you.
Now imagine a kid growing up and seeing that on the internet. Or when she was saying that Cardi B's kid would have intellectual disabilities. Or when she said Cardi B's kid is not Offset's. Y'all imagine a kid growing up seeing that on the internet. And to me, that's a hell of a lot worse than some fool saying you're sitting in a basement with your gremlin. I mean, that's crazy, but that's being petty, and it's petty shade. But putting it out on the internet that a kid's father isn't really their father, that's actually a lot more damaging. And don't forget when she went after Perez Hilton. And the first thing she did was to put up a photo of this man holding his child in the shower, and she was implying that he molests his kids. So imagine a child growing up seeing that on the internet, but y'all are all up in arms because Jason Lee said gremlin. Y'all give me a break, okay? I mean, yes, he was wrong because children should always be off limits, but what I'm saying is keep that same energy. It can't be okay for Tasha K to use people's kids to antagonize them, but when she gets a dose of her own medicine, she goes crying, oh, he's attacking my child. Give me a break. So I feel nothing about this. I feel no sympathy towards Tasha K. Y'all are not going to get me to cancel Jason Lee over this. Y'all are not going to convince me that Tasha K deserves sympathy because of this, because she has said a lot worse about other people's children. So stop with the fake outrage unless you plan to hold her up to the same standards. And, you know, you really get to see the hypocrisy in situations like these because it's the same people who are ready to burn Jason Lee at the stake. They're the same ones who were laughing it up when Tasha K was saying all those nasty things about other people's kids. Now, as if all this gremlin stuff wasn't enough, y'all, now Jason Lee is saying that he's gonna dedicate an entire episode of his show Problematic to Tasha K. And he says he's going to expose her because she's been sucking Nicki Minaj's dick and all. But he has stuff to prove that she's also been trash-talking Nicki. But at this point, I'm like, y'all, Jason Lee is hella late because we all saw that stuff with Tasha K trash-talking Nicki. And she's been saying the most offensive things about Nicki Minaj's husband. And I mean, Nicki knows at this point because people have made videos about it. People have been tweeting her about it. So she knows. And she doesn't care. So if she doesn't care, why should we? So I really don't know what else is there for Jason Lee to expose. So if he's just going to go do a whole episode to rehash all of that, then just let it go, okay? Because it's stale news. But if he has some new tea, y'all, I'm here for it. But anyway, y'all, that's just my take on this. So let me know what you all think in the comments. I'm gonna go watch Gremlins now because that was one of my favorite movies as a kid. And this shit just made me nostalgic, okay? So bye, guys, and thanks for watching.